Thank you very much. Let me again welcome you. Let me again welcome you. And right now we are still on EMS Grade 7, Economic and Management Science Grade 7, Term 3 notes. And in, in today's presentation, we are on the topic of entrepreneurial actions of producing and making profit. So as he says, as there is a question that says, what is the difference between buying and selling a product and as well as producing a product? So let's first start by them buying and selling. Let's first start by the buying and selling. Buying and selling. So buying and selling, that is, wherever we are talking about buying a finished goods and reselling them. Buying finished goods and reselling them and reselling them. So that is that. So for example, buying cold drinks and selling them. That's what we are trying to say. So that is that. So now let us get um, to our business of today. As it says, explain the following to learners. Yesterday, you have learned about buying a finished product and to sell it at a higher price. This is what you have already did together. What happened if you want to make or produce your own products? So it means now it takes us to producing. It takes us to producing. So when you talk of producing, guys, when you talk of producing, that's when we are talking about making products to sell. It's all about making products to sell. So when you talk of producing, we are talking of making products to sell. Making products, making products to sell. So that is that. Baking muffins, you are baking muffins so that you can sell them. So that is why you see some people are creative and like to make things. So when you make muffins, so you're making them to do what? To sell them. That's how creative you are. Entrepreneurs with these characteristics may prefer to produce what? They may prefer to produce what? Goods. For example, someone can make muffins, like we've said, and sell it to children at school. Another person wants to make traditional dresses and sell to the local community. That's what you're talking about when you're talking about producing, where you make products to sell. Someone can make what? Food production. Someone can make what? Clothes production. That's when you're talking about dresses. So ask learners to give some examples of people in the community who produces something. So that is that. Now we come to profit now. We come to profit. So when we talk of profit, as you can see now, we are on profit. Profit, it's about so profit all about income. It's about the income greater than expense. So when you talk of profit, we're talking about greater than income greater than expense. Income greater than um expenses. That's what that's it. That is a profit. So for example, you earn 8 rand and spend 50 rand. So your profit is 30 rand. So that is that. So as it says, entrepreneur cannot start a business and do not have the aim to make money. That is a profit. So the bottom line of making a business is to get what? Is to have what? A profit. So that is the objective of what? Of the business. So a profit is when your income is more than your expenses. More money received from sales. That's when you're talking about income. That is more money received from sales. So that is that. More money received from sales. Money from selling more things. That's when you're talking about what? Income. So when entrepreneur is still in the business planning strategies, it is important to remember that there are other expenses called overheads in running a business. So here we're talking about what? Expenses. We are talking about expenses, cost of running business. When you talk of expenses, we know very well we're talking about what? Costs, a cost of running a business, cost of running the business, cost of running the business. So that is that. These are the expenses, cost of running the business. So that is that. You can talk of ingredients and electricity. Those are the costs of what? Of running what? Of the business. Because the ingredients that you're going to use to make muffin, they are expenses. The electricity that you're going to use, that is an expense. So that is that. And you are told that these are called what? The overheads. So when you talk of overheads, you're talking about ongoing business costs. We are talking about ongoing business costs. Ongoing business costs. Those are the overhead cost. Talk of rent, you talk of water, you talk of electricity. So those are the overheads. Then we did talk about what? Planning. We did talk about planning there, where we are saying you calculate all costs before starting. This is the planning that we're talking about. This is whereby you are trying by all means to calculate. You are trying to calculate all costs before starting. Before starting. So that is that. So you budget for ingredients and rent before you can even start. So that is why it says when entrepreneur is still in the business planning strategy, in the business planning strategy, it is important to remember that there are expenses called overheads in the running business. So overheads are running expenses like rent, electricity, water, transport costs. So these are the expenses that are involved to get the product or service to the customer. So that is that. So good people, this is the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your time.